Hi, I'm Lisa, and for this assignment, I'm going to speak about my first meeting with a little girl named Jane. I wrote about Jane last week, and I'm going to continue with this case for this assignment. Uh, when I met Jane, she was 4 years old, and Jane is an African American little girl, and she lives with her mom and her little sister, and her mom was also pregnant with her third child, and her mom was just 20, so she was very, very young. And when she had Jane, she was a young teenager. So Jane's family lived in a little trailer in one of the poorest counties of Virginia, and the trailer was pretty horrific when I first drove up to it. It actually really saddened me to know that there are families in America living in these sort of substandard living conditions. Um, the trailer was very beat up, had holes in the sides, in the floors, in the ceilings. Just it looked like it had been sitting there for 50 plus years, and I just again couldn't believe the family was living there, but they were, and I was happy to be there for that family and work with Jane. So I think one of the first things I do when I'm preparing for meeting a child, and with the job that I had, which was an intensive in-home counselor, I met in their home environment, sometimes in the school, but most of the times in their home environment, which is very different than just being in an office. When I approach the house, anybody's home, I want to, I approach it in a respectful, humble manner. I really, really appreciate the fact that the family is welcoming me into their house and giving me, a chance to come in and help them. So I'm always really, really just, and this is nonverbal. This is just your presence of feeling really thankful that you can come into their home, into their private world, and be a part of their life. So that's one thing. Two, I love children, and I think when working with children, you need to have, I think, that natural personality, want, skill, whatever you would like to call it, where you really appreciate kids. And I sure do. And so with that, I love children, and I love working with them. So that makes it easier for me to interact with them and use some of the actual tools and skills that I have learned as a social worker. So there's two things. One, feel humble coming into the home. Two, you gotta love working with kids. um, and three, now getting into the more skills that I would use. I I when I met Jane, she was really an easy child in the sense of being very open and friendly, so that made it very easy. She's bright, spunky, well spoken, very active. So I was able to make good eye contact with her. I was able to say hello and tell her who I was, and she welcomed me in her home, and immediately I sort of engaged with her. I engaged with her, and she wanted to share things with me, show me things, and I became a part of her world at that moment. Um, and during that time, I also, interact with the mom. A mom is obviously a little more guarded. I'm sure she's having all kinds of different feelings and questions about me being in her living room, and taking over, care of her child at least for 10 hours a week. I speak with mom as well during this time, talk to her a little bit, tell her a little bit about me, ask questions about her, and you follow the lead. Jane was very, very open, so I was able to, be open with her. And with mom, I could see she was a little reserved. So, you follow the lead, you feel it out, you use your common sense, and keep the conversation comfortable and not too rushed at times, and find the connections. When I saw a photograph of Jane or her family, I would mention that, like, oh, what a great photograph. What was that? How old were you? Things like that. So, my initial visit is to be warm and open, and for Jane to feel comfortable around me. Her first, impression is that I am a friendly person. I am here to be to her to become a friend of hers, to become part of her life for a little while, and with mom too, and let mom know that she sees a woman who is trusting, who is respectful, who is you know going to be reliable and open, and all these great qualities that you should have when you're working with families and children. So the first meeting is really just setting up that rapport, to build that rapport, to set the stage of a warm, trusting, open relationship where Jane feels that she can approach me, mom feels that she can approach me, and we can start working on some of the issues. So that really is it. The first meeting is, to me, I just want to sort of lay the foundation down. And then probably the second meeting, we will start discussing some of the issues that mom can tell me about, what's going on with Jane. Already, I have a sense of it because there was an assessment done prior to this, so we already have I have a sense of what is going on. But we will get into the more details of the goals and the objectives and the intervention, and get a treatment plan together and things like that. But for the first visit, as I said, it's just sort of presenting me, and that's really important. We I feel lucky to not have trouble with kids. I raised three of them myself. So, and I really appreciate being a part of Jane's life and her family's life. And I guess that's it. That's the first meeting. All right. Thanks so much. See you guys later. See you on the discussion board.